Hello everybody. Well, back in Journal 2, and this will be Chapter 10, Part 2. And I'd like to make a point before I get into this, second half, is just like Christ, if you're a Christian, you're supposed to be, as they say, Christ-like. Well, Christ, as they say, didn't sin or err. But why do we continue doing that if we're supposedly Christ-like? And Christ, He wanted us to be like Him, literally. To be like the master or the teacher. And I gotta ask you, what's to stop you from doing the things he did? Is it your faith? Is it your knowledge? Is it the wisdom? What's doing it to you? Or is it just your will? Is it manifested? So I'd like to make that point when going through this. Keep in mind, what's to stop you from doing it? Walking on the waves. During the fourth night watch, Emmanuel came towards them, walking on the waves of the sea. When his disciples saw him walk upon the water, they were terrified and said, "He is a ghost." And they were screaming in fear. Soon Emmanuel reached near unto the boat, and spoke unto them, saying, "Be comforted, for it is I. Do not be afraid. I have come to bring you to safety." "Master, is it truly you?" asked Peter. And Emmanuel answered, "Verily it is me." Peter could not understand, and called to Emmanuel, "Master, if it is you, please let me come unto you upon the water." Emmanuel said, "Then come here unto me, and do not be afraid. Believe and know that the water will carry you, and it shall carry you. Do not doubt in your faith and your knowledge, and the water will be firm beneath your feet." Peter stepped from the boat, and was held above the water, and he walked toward Emmanuel. But then strong thunder ripped through the howling storm, and he was startled, and began to go down to the sea. And he screamed and called, "Emmanuel, help me!" Emmanuel quickly went to him, reached forth his hand, and pulled him gently up above the waves, saying, "O you of little faith, why are you startled? And why do you doubt when things appear to be difficult and formidable? The power of your knowledge gives you the ability which you have just witnessed. You trusted in my words before the thunder came, but when you were shaken and began to doubt, then the power of knowledge left you, and your ability disappeared also. Never doubt in the power of the Spirit, which is part of the creation itself, and therefore does not know any limits of power. Behold, there was a little bird who circled the sky a great distance in the air, and whistled and sang in rejoicement about her life, or its life. When a strong gust of wind came and made him waver, he suddenly doubted his power to fly, fell, and crashed, and was thusly killed. Therefore, never doubt in the power of your spirit, and never doubt in your knowledge. When logic proves to you the law of the creation, even in thy daily lives you can see the logic of the creation and know truth. For all about you will be done that which you perceive cannot be done, or that will be done. Peter and Emmanuel then stepped into the boat, and Emmanuel told the storm to stop, and it abated, and the wind ceased to blow, and all was quiet as the waves became stilled. Aboard the boat, the men marveled and said, "You are indeed a master of the Spirit, and someone who knows the laws of the creation. No one like you has ever been born, and also no prophet has had such power. Above all, the creation." Emmanuel smiled and answered, "I tell you, there are greater masters of spiritual powers than me, and they are patriarchs who came out of the great space, and the greatest among them is God, and He is the spiritual ruler of the three human races. But above Him is the creation, whose laws He faithfully follows and adheres to, and He, God, is not omnipotent either, as only the creation itself can be omnipotent. Thus there are limits for him who allows himself to be called God, and who is above kings and emperors. As has been said, man is ignorant and immature because he considers God as the same as the creation, and follows the false teachings that were adulterated by distorters and charlatans. Thus, when man believes in God, he does not believe in the creation. For God is man, on a far greater dimension of perfection, and it is left for man to grow in his own truth, and perfection that it can attain such perfection. And keep something in mind, is God and the creation work one and the same together. Creation above all, then it trickles down into God. The creation is much more and made all things, dimensions, how you want to look at it. Then God's with the inside of that, and of course works outside of it, how you want to look at it. But they work together, not trying to overpower each other. There's a great difference in God and man. However, that in his spirit he is infinitely greater than all people upon the earth, but he is not the creation, which is infinite and without any form nor limitations. Thus, God too is a creation of the original creation, which has no beginnings and has no ending. And we are all part of the creation. All the children, all the grass, all the trees, all the stars, planets, it's all alive. It's all part of him and everything space in between. All atoms and everything is not an atom, even molecules, what do you want to think of it? Even when thinking out of outer space, there's actually things out there, funny enough, in between. All was very quiet upon the sea as they came across the water and went ashore in the land of the Genserites. When the people in this place became aware of him, they sent word all over the land and brought all to him who were sick and infirm. They asked that he might even touch the hem of his clothing, that they might be healed. And thus it took place. Those that so much as touched the hem of his robe became whole. And this is about to be the end of it, but I'd like to make a point. What really healed them? Was it the belief, or was it him? Or was it something in you? You gotta think, like, for example, like the ghost therapy, when someone get their hand chopped off and they put a mirror up next to it, like the ghost therapy, or phantom therapy. And all of a sudden the pain goes away because something in their mind healed it. Your body can heal itself, can it not? Just you put the limitation on it. It's through your knowledge and wisdom you can do so. And that's what he taught the people even back then, was through their spirit is what done it. But thank you, Dharma. Let us take a brief leave of the word for respite. Salu, and I will wait your signal to continue. That's all for Chapter 10.